on. I'll tell folks that it's very important, especially if you're in school. So I'm an advocate for go to school if you can. Of course, if you are not aware by now, I went to school, I graduated well. In fact, I'm even going back for an MBA because I think that there's just a particular level that you would be limited if you do not go to school, you do not have a degree. Of course, it's very different from if you are very good, maybe as an engineer or a developer, and you are very good as an engineer or a developer, and you have like a master's in blockchain technology. Well, yeah, it's very different, the kind of roles that you can do. So I do not subscribe to like the feel that school is scam. If you can go to school, of course, it's very hard, right? Nigeria, like most of us could, lecturers do not like you. You do not like the system. The curriculum is outdated. But if you decide to do it, please do it. If you decide that you don't want to do it, that's totally fine. It's up to you. But make sure that you are like choosing the best things for yourself. So for me, I just found out that I was interested in these things, and it was really nice being interested, and that sort of, and over time, one thing that sort of helped me is that I've been able to jump from one thing to another, because if I do one thing and I find out that this thing that I'm doing, I'm enjoying it, but I want to do something else, it's much easier for you to like jump from one thing to another when you are younger. So you have that's what's it called? You have that freedom from jumping from, let's say today you are doing front end, and you find out that in 3 months' time, you don't enjoy front end, you can jump to back end. This thing I just described is easier for you to do when you're a student, because the pressure is not much on you. All of that. But by the time you finish school, and then you get into the main job market, and you start seeing that, is plenty. You start figuring out that, it's much other. So I would say that when you're like just starting out, have that, and you're assessing your skill and looking at your interest, have that mindset of wanting to jump careers from one point to another, instead of like sitting down and saying, I must be this one thing. I hope that makes sense. So let me stop here for now and wait for some further questions on that.
Thank you so much, Sodiq. That was really insightful. So assessing skills and interests can come in various ways, depending on the kind of category you find yourself. And you also mentioned when assessing skills, don't be too sentimental about it. So you also touch on the university perspective. School is never a scam. Education is still part of it, but if you find a way to work around it, best of luck. Thank you so much, Sodiq. I hope we get the message on assessing skills and interest. So it's a bit difficult, even though you have that resources, and maybe you are a rich kid in Nigeria and things like that, you still have some limitations. What advice can you give on building a foundation to become a career person?
I would say that with respect to advice, I would say that one thing that I figure out is, one thing that I think is very important is build your soft skills. Very, very important. No matter what you do, your technical skills can get you in the job, but your soft skills is like very important. So how to communicate to like your different stakeholders, whether they are your bosses or whether they are your superiors, or they are like folks that report to you, or they are your colleague. So really drilling down on like soft skill. That's what I found out that most folks really lack. You might be strong technically, but making sure that your strong skill, your soft skill is good, and also figuring out how to have that work-life balance. With respect to, there's a lot of, especially with like tech, you're at home, waking up, sleeping, and you really like just making sure that you have that work-life balance. Work when you're supposed to work, rest when you're supposed to rest. And of course, there will always be like challenges and like points where you have to make sure that you're doing the right thing that is best for yourself. So I would say that 3 things: build that soft skill, get that good work-life balance, because don't forget, health is wealth, and health is really important. And then the third one is be consistent. I said this so much that folks think that it's probably a cliche at this point, but you find out that most youths, they are not consistent, and that's what causes like a challenge. You pick up something today, if you are consistent with something like 2 hours per day or 1 hour per day over like 60 days, you're already 60 hours strong. But what most people do is they just, when they pick up something that day, you might do like 10 hours and then drop it for like the next 2 months or next 3 months. And it doesn't work that way. So try and be like, whether it is small bits of time and over a long period of time, or it is long bit of time over a long period of time, but just try and be consistent. I think Kama is probably having some issues connecting, but I see a chat I see a question in the chat around how do you juggle schoolwork and learning soft skill? Great question, Oluwada Melari. What I typically tell people is, with schoolwork, so one thing that really helped me, because I've been working like right out of school, one thing that really helped me to navigate working in school, being in school, and then working was like managing that. So there's something called off time. So what I call that time is, so there's that time that maybe you have a lecture, but the lecture is there yet. So you're sort of like making sure that between the time that the lecture has, it might take 3 hours, you can use that time to quickly do 1 or 2 things that you want to do. So whether you want to quickly work on something or you're working on a project, so that time can be like, you're quickly doing it. And I get that even while in school, another thing that sort of wastes time is that you find out that people are, the time that you used to move and wait for your friends. Of course, it's good to have friends, especially if you are doing like, if you are working and schooling at the same time, so that they can help you with things like you need to write attendance, and maybe there's something you missed out on and all of that stuff. But there's also that a lot of time that is spent in like waiting for one person in the crew so all of you can go somewhere. So all of that different waiting times that occur, I think if you're a student, you probably know what I'm talking about, right? More clearly. That time you can utilize it to quickly like get some stuff done. The other thing that is also now very important with like learning soft skill is you dealing with your lecturer, you communicating with your fellow colleagues, you dealing with school management, whatever things they're all form of soft skills. So because you are communicating, you are communicating, you are writing letters, and all of the, you are doing presentations in class, you are relating with people, you are trying to do like time management. So making sure that as you are, all those things that is not typical that you are doing in school, that it looks like it's just normal now, is what you now do on a large level that you now classify as soft skills. So all of those things, okay, how do you solve problem, your problem solving, your interpersonal skills, your teamwork, is so making sure that you're applying it well in your school environment will also help you to apply it well in your work environment. Does that make sense? So as you're like applying all of that skills and getting better with relating with stakeholders in your school. When I say stakeholders, your lecturers, your course mates, your school management, your colleagues, other departments, all of that stuff will help you also do that on the workspace better. Okay, over to you, Kamal.
All right. Sadiq, I think, yeah, I had a network glitch for some moments, but I quite get some of the important tips that you share with us. So thank you for that, and those that keep engaging us on the chat section. So I think we are moving towards a very important section right now before we now move to where the audience would ask different questions. So I believe the question people want to ask is that, okay, fine, it's not as if you just jump from the university or from the basic knowledge that you have. It's not as if you just jump to the current level that you are right now. You might have encountered some different challenges. So can you please share with us how you navigate those challenges and how you overcome so many obstacles along your journey? Or if you can share at least one biggest, obstacles that you have encountered in your career journey.
This one, I do. So I think one interesting thing that I would like to share is I think sometimes, so I think right out of, so let me give you some form of background. So I've been doing there's a point that my what's it called? My profile was confusing. Is that the word? Yes, that's the word. So I could build websites, right? At the same time, I was a community manager from like the WordPress. I was leading like open source, doing a lot of work in open source. I was building a lot of websites. At one point, I had this product management certification that I did, right? And I did that product management certification. It really made sense, right? So I could identify as a product manager. I could identify as a project manager. I already had experience building websites. At that time, I think, I was thinking of 2021 ending. At that time, I had built like websites for like amazing companies in the world, one Fortune 500 company, all of these things that you can use to brag. And then I was jobless and broke. I think November of that year, 2021. So I just finished school and I was like, I needed something and nothing was working. Remember? And then I had this identity crisis because I could do everything, but I don't get a job. And I was constantly looking for opportunities. I was applying for, you know the line now. Thank you for reaching out to us. Unfortunately, by now everybody's familiar. And I was getting every day. And I was wondering, hey, what's the way forward? So what sort of helped me was looking back, and I had to decide. Of course, when you look back, I don't know if I had chosen something else, maybe my life would be much, much better. But it just makes sense sort of look back, and because you can never know the answer looking forward. You can only know the answer looking backward. Does that make sense? So I decided to like pick like program management and DevRel instead of like picking product management, because I had all these skills. I could build on it. And I had like a particular amount that I wanted to earn. So that was also the challenge. It was, you know how it is now. Economy is even harder now than it was then. But I was figuring out there was a particular amount that I was looking for that could be like my starting point. And nothing was working. So what really helped me navigate that time was I first sat down, I had a chat to my mentor, a crunch talk. It was like, Sadiq, you have all these skills, but it's useless because you have just packing skills up and down. You are packing. But so it's giving all those things where you've watched this React video, you know how to build up, you've worked this Angular, you've worked this Vue, but you never do any project. So it was like, you have all these things, but you need to do something that's spectacular. So I kept giving of myself, like helping folks to, I think at that time, so I decided to do like program management. So that's what I decided to focus on, which was like DevRel is like a subfield under program management. So I decided to go for that. And I started like, I just drilled down. And I told myself that if this thing did not work by January, I'm just going to go and dust my WordPress CV. And I'll go and be pasting posters in Lagos that I can build websites for you for 20,000 naira. I beg anything, make I shall see food. It's funny now, but and that time I just moved. So all of these things were there. So, but interestingly, how I got that role at that time was that I got a call from like someone that sort of just was looking to do something in fintech. Well, I didn't do something in fintech, but they needed somebody to like help with like their dev relations, dev relations, dev advocacy, and all of that stuff. And we had a chat, we had an interview, it was really nice, and I got the job. And of course, it helped me because the person already knew me because of like all the different things that I have contributed to. So I was in the community, the person could see me. So it was like a direct referral. I told somebody, the person said, call this person now. She's looking for something. And then it happened. And luckily for me, the person also, like the CEO of the company at that time, needed my help with another skill set that I had. So I had to step in and I helped. I did the interview. I got in. And that one opportunity sort of set me up, right? Yeah, it helped me with, and the rest is like history, right? A few months down the line, everyone can see now. So the rest is history. So I would say that I don't know if it would have worked, right? I actually tried, but I don't know. I can't say if it would have worked. If I had picked something else, maybe I'd probably have put posters in Lagos. I'd be a big name, building sites for 20K, e-commerce. Do you guys know that meme now? But I'm doing what I love, so it's really nice and really interesting. So it was really like, so that's like a challenge I wanted to share. Over to you, Kamal.
Thank you so much, Jake. So a whole tech for Lagos, pasting poster on different people's gates for jobs or for gigs. No minimum. So I will not want us to talk in that line, but I hope your challenges inspire some of us that is here, because it's something relatable and something we can, feel, or something we've experienced in our past endeavors. So I just don't want to say, I truly know that many people would also have a lot of things to share or to contribute to this matter, because you've been the one sharing the nice, insightful tips on how we can stay fit in our career. So I know they have a lot of questions. So this will take a longer time than we expected. All right, House, I'm so happy that it's your turn now. So you can now ask Sadiq questions on different things. You already know the topic for this conversation. So please paste your question or unmute and ask your question. He's here with us right now. What do you want to ask Sodiq Akinjobi, a community manager at Google?
Hi, Sadiq.
Hi.
You have a very interesting story, and just like you, I have very many skill sets under my belt, and I hope to like land a gig soon. I'm doing a lot of stuff: community management, social media management, UI UX, quite a lot of stuff, like just like your story when you began. I hope to like get a gig soon and get a job and all. That's just what I wanted to say.
Yeah, don't be don't lose hope. I think yeah, Sadiq, what do you have to say about that? I just want to wish you best of luck.
Yeah, I want to say like be consistent, increase your network, like just try and meet as many people as you can. So increase your network, try and be consistent. And then definitely as you're doing all of that, the best will come. So yeah, and wishing you all the best.
All right, thank you so much, Sadiq. So someone asked, how do I know what skill to do that with after school?
Let me try and get the question again. How do I know what skill? Oh, so I would say that if you are still in school, play around with any skill. Even if after school, if you're just finishing, I'm pretty sure that if you Google what are the different career paths in tech, you see all the different career paths. If you look at the one that interests you the most, then go to Google again or ChatGPT or BAD, any of those things, and put getting started with X. So if the career path that you want to get started with is say front end, sorry, go to Google and put getting started with front end. If you put it there, you'll see like different answers. And then when you do, you can that can sort of help and serve. And then of course you can also identify like folks that can do like that could serve as your mentors, whether on Twitter or in I4G community, in whatever community that you are in, and then just sort of try and grow along with that community.
Okay, yeah, that is it to the person that asked that question. Thank you so much. And somebody also asked, what kind of skill do you recommend for a student studying mechanical engineering? As you can see. Okay.
So what kind of skills do I recommend for a student? Like I said, I think that I usually avoid saying, go and do this thing, or rather do A or do B. I totally say research on everything. Please, can we mute Chigozie? Okay, thank you. Please let's keep our microphones muted for the best experience. Alex, until you are called, please raise your hand and then let's keep our microphones muted for the best experience. Thank you. So back to what I was sharing earlier. I was saying that I would say I do not like say go and pick this particular skill and do it. My one is research into any of the skills. Like do your research. So go to Google, use one of the AI tools. Go to Google, use one of the AI tools. Guys, for best experience, if everybody is unmuting themselves, I will not be able to talk and I will not be able to hear you. Please keep your microphones muted. If you have a question, raise your hand. When you are called, you'll be able to unmute yourself for best experience for everyone. Thank you so much for the cooperation. So I was saying that I would say that there's like no skill. You can just research, and then when you research, pick up something. There's nothing that you can. I've seen people that are studying law, and they are the best software engineers that I know. So it's not a matter of what you're studying. My concern is just do a research and pick anyone. We've seen people that are studying mechanical engineering and are the best content creator, the best technical writer that I know, or the best writer that I know is studying systems engineering. So that sort of gives like perspective into it. You can pick any skill, just when you know the skill, able to go into it And if it's not working for you, please feel free to drop it and switch to something else, especially if you are still in school. It's much easier to be doing all that switching around. Kamal, should I just pick the next question from Esther?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay, so Esther is saying that what can you describe as the most challenging experience about managing a community? This thing hard though. So I think that something that I remember is back then, that year, I will not say the year, so you don't know the story. I was planning an hackathon for one of the things that one of the companies I have affiliation with. And then we had planned to have this hackathon. We had done all this game planning, put people together. It was an amazing hackathon. I think it was a week long or 2 weeks. And then we got to the final day, and then a lot of people turned out for the hackathon because I was going to be prize winning. But everybody decided to attend the final of the hackathon virtually instead of coming in person. And this was a challenge for me because part of my KPIs was able to get people in the room to be at the hackathon final in person. But because most of the hackathon was already virtual and there was a Zoom option, I think it was Zoom or Google Meet, I can't remember. There was a Zoom option for the hackathon final day. Everybody decided to join online. And I paid for food, I paid for drinks, I paid for all and all of that stuff. And everybody was joining from their house. So that morning, it cost like, how can we get people to come to this event and all of that stuff? It was really interesting. We're able to navigate it, but that's something that still comes straight to, that's like fresh in memory. Of course, after that, I feel like much bigger problem, but that like very easy to solve. So that's one that I still remember fondly. And sometimes when I just sit there and think of that time, I just laugh. I know that that there's a shared story of Kamal and I that we had back in the days with one event that we're trying to plan. Events are very funny, especially if you're a community organizer. But we'll not get into that today. So let me move to the next. I think that there's somebody that is raising their hand. So let me take that person. Then I'll move to the next person in the chat. Hi, Pleasure.
Oh, hi. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I took a course sometime last year while I was in school and on strike. I took introduction to user interface course with the community in partnership with Geneza. Anyways, I got back to school and I could not keep up. I could not juggle the two of them together. And so I just kind of focused on school. And now I'm done. I'm trying to get back into the design space and tech space, but it's just sort of hard because I'm not sure where to start from. And so I've been trying to read a lot, just read things. And I know that everybody is asking you for your portfolio and all of that. But it's like I've not really had anything to do, like a case study to work on to create a portfolio to start applying for internships. Point is, I'm just not sure where to start from again and picking myself back up in my career path in this tech line. Because I'm really struggling. I'm not sure where to start from. I'm not sure what to do. Aside reading, everybody just says practice, practice, practice. And it's like, okay, I've been trying to practice as well, but it's sort of harder to practice when there is nobody to score what you're doing. I don't even understand what I'm saying, or tell you, oh, okay, you're doing this right, you're doing this wrong. And I don't know. I just don't know where to start from. I don't know, but I'm trying to pick it up. So I kind of need help, like an advice, something.
So thank you, Pleasure. What's your favorite product?
Nothing's come to my head now. I can't think of any product that's my favorite.
I'll wait, don't worry. So
Okay,
an
like
app
give
on
me
your
like
phone. An app on
Oh,
your
an app on
phone.
my phone. I'll probably say Instagram.
Instagram. Okay. So Instagram is your favorite product. So
Yeah.
do a case study or do a feature on Instagram that makes, let me see. I'm opening my Instagram, looking for something that is missing. So find a case study of something that is missing on Instagram that you think should be there. When you do it, share it on Twitter. Ask her, hi guys, I just worked on this particular feature. So this thing will help you with two things. Number one, it will help you with documentation because as you are doing it, because you are sharing, you have to document that this is the research that you did. I think you said you're a product designer now. So I'm going in that line. You're going to do user research. You to speak with people. What don't you like about Instagram? Whatever they don't like, you go and redesign it. When you finish redesigning it, or just that particular feature, then you write about it. When you write about it, you will share it and then ask for public feedback. And that is your way back. So when you do, and then you can begin to, that's a way to grow your portfolio from there. Does that help?
Yes, it does
When
actually.
you do it,
Thank you.
please tag me so I can review it.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So let me go back to the chats. Please don't forget, please, if you have questions, please raise your hand. Easy. So I think that somebody, Anita asked that what tech skill would you recommend to a non-tech oriented person? I've answered this thing before. So moving on. Why is everybody asking for tech skills? Don't forget the act is just research for any tech skill and really I don't think there's anything you can do. Just research, just put it in Google. What tech skills can I do? Look at and read about them each, and then pick the one that resonates with you first. If you do it then when you find it, so let's say you find you're a non-tech person now, for example. Let's say you find is customer experience or customer support. Okay, that might even be techy, depending on where you're working. So if you're getting started with customer support in tech, if you Google it and after 1 hour of going deep into or 2 hours, you're not enjoying it, go back to something else. When you find out that the knowledge that you have garnered from like that 1 hour or 2 hour of like going deep into it and seeing what it is, you find out that it's with you forever. And so let's say sometime in the future, they want to promote you to something at your workplace and they need you to have a bit of that skill. You can say, I did this thing back then. You even be talking like an expert. And then of course, knowledge is transferable. So yeah, and then it's easier for you to pick up and continue from there. Okay. Let me see. Is there a way to get a network to the right person? I think I've answered all this question. Okay, somebody's asking, tell me, as someone who is new in community management, what are the tools you think I can use to navigate this as a newbie? So, like, even though my role is titled community manager, I don't think I do I don't think I do the work of like community manager, quote and unquote, if that makes sense. So, even my title, I think I'm more of like a program manager. So things like SEO, things like writing blog posts, things like newsletters, they are not my domain. However, back then when I was like doing like more of like DevRel, some part of DevRel covers that. So what I would say is that rewriting blog posts, I use tools like Quibots to paraphrase or to paraphrasing the word. Yes, to paraphrase, to edit. I use things like, and there's this SEO tool by Yoast that we used to use. I think it's SEO Rush or SEO REM. That we sort of use for like keyword SEM Rush for like keyword research, and then working with Google Trends and all of that stuff. So what I would say is that, so those are like two tools that I've mentioned. And then for newsletters, same thing you use for writing. And then you can now run it through. And then you can run it through any of the AI tools that exist these days to direct what next for you. Okay, so I think I pretty much answered all the questions that I can see for now. Over to you, Kamal.
Obviously, yes, you've answered some of the questions. Thank you so much, Sodiq, for staying with us to this moment. We've learned a lot from you, and we will still continue learning. I think somebody said he's trying to grow in cyber security. Is there a place I can visit to grow my skills as well as to meet mentors too? So I would just advise you to, well, I don't know if Sodiq has any recommendation for cybersecurity community in Africa. So Ali, yeah.
So there's no there's no cyber security community that comes to head. But when I Google cyber security community in Africa, what comes up is, so I can see there's Cyber Share Africa. I can see Africa Union cyber security flagship program. So, like I said, once I Google, so another thing you can also do is find folks that are doing cybersecurity presently. So you can find them on LinkedIn, you can find them on Twitter, and then just ask them. When you find them, check them out, and then go from a place of value. Hi, my name is Femi. So for example, let's say, hi, my name is Femi. I was at your talk recently at I4G. I really liked what you share. When I look at your career path, when you first, I sort of resonate with your career path. And I was hoping that I could ask you a few questions. I promise not to disturb you. A few questions around program management. Please feel free to, a few questions if I do have them. So because some people might say, I don't want to mentor. So if you go like that, I don't want to mentor somebody, but if you go like that, indirect, and then you are just connecting with them on social media, maybe if they tweet something, you retweet it. If they say something, you like it, and then you engage them on the TL. If in a day, maybe one day in future, and then you now have a particular question, and then you already have a relationship that you have been building online. So you can now enter and say, please, can I bounce off something off you? I've been trying to, I'm trying to do this thing in this community, but it's not working fine. I've tried A, I've tried B, I've tried C. What would you say I can do? Fine. See, two things is the person can air you and not reply because folks are also busy, right? Maybe they have things that they are working on. You know how this world can be. But then the best chance is they can reply you, and then they are responding, but they are not responding as like a total stranger because you already have been building that relationship from time past. So that's basically what I tell people about relationships. So that way you are nurturing that relationship from like way back and then building it up bit by bit. So that's one way. Another way is just to go and meet them directly. Hi, please, I'd like to mentor me. But anything your eyes see, you collect it like that. And the same applies to like blockchain technology, whatever field we are talking about. That's like the approach I usually recommend. Somebody's asking, how do I increase my tolerance in tech? I would say that people think that I see tech as any other thing. Tech is just a tool to help to make things easier. It's just a tool. So I would say that you have to build the endurance internally. You have to build the endurance by yourself. Just put in your best work and try and just be consistent. Keep showing up, keep trying. And then with time, you begin to build that thick muscle. Sometimes I even think public health is even much, much harder than health. So if you did public health, then trust me, I'm not saying tech is easy, but you can definitely do tech. So. Okay, over to you. I think we are almost at time, so come on, over to you.
Thank you. That's so amazing, and it's very insightful. We all got what we needed from this section, right from the time you explain your background, how you get started before you find your pace, some of the challenges you encountered, right from the moments where you're looking for jobs and, before you start focusing on a particular career path, and also encouraging us that education is not scam. It all depends on the perspective we want to look into. So you also encourage us to be more consistent with our learning, which is one of the key things to attain a high position in the tech industry. So you mentioned you respond to some questions in a very tactic and strategic manner that makes us believe that with little resource you can, do big things. And you also mentioned the power of community, like networking, to at least get the job role access that is required. So there was also a question that went a bit to sum up the relationship between community management and program management. So I would say it has been a wonderful session. I don't know if you have any key takeaway that you would like to share, like a roundup or a last minute advice to our community members.
Just to end this, please connect with me on social media. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. I think it's my full name everywhere, or Geek Tutor. Connect with me, but just on a to end it, I know that I've said it multiple times. Consistency is something that I'm also even still trying to act by myself. But if you can figure out consistency, then I think every other part of your life will probably work great. So be consistent at what you do. Little drops makes an ocean, it's giving motivational talk, but be very consistent. If you can act consistency, then you can act everything. Consistency is the key. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Sodiq. We hope to connect with you more in the future. Please, the best way you can connect with Sodiq is on Twitter. So I would like to, paste his social URL. I think he's everywhere. His name, Sodiq Akinjobi. You would have seen that by Sodiq of Google. Yeah, thank you so much, Sodiq, and thanks so much to our inspiring audience. You have made this section compelling to everyone. Thanks for your patience and for asking relevant questions to, give our speaker a little bit. I don't want to say a tough time, but at least he was glad to answer all our questions. So I didn't mean we are so passive on this call. It may not be a comfortable setting for him. So thank you. We have come to the end of the sessions today. And don't forget the old cards, which always remember some platform like Webcar, Drew, To Go, Eskimi, and the likes. So why the new cards will be asking questions. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye. Thank you.